Look at these three lines. One is clearly longer than the others. The difference is obvious. A child could see it. You can see it right now without even trying. In 1951, a psychologist named Solomon Asch put a man in a room with 7 other people and showed them the same lines. The task was simple. Which of the 3 lines on the right matches the line on the left? The answer was always obvious. There was never any real ambiguity. But the 7 other people in the room were not real participants. They were actors. And one by one, out loud, in front of the real participant, they gave the wrong answer. Confidently. Casually, as if the obviously correct answer were not even worth considering. Then it was the real participant's turn. 75% of participants gave the wrong answer at least once. 32% of all answers across the study were wrong. Answers the participants could see with their own eyes were wrong, simply because everyone else in the room had said them first. When researchers asked participants afterward why they had answered incorrectly, most said one of 2 things. Either they had started to genuinely doubt their own perception, wondering if they were somehow seeing the lines differently from everyone else, or they had known the answer was wrong but could not bring themselves to be the only person in the room who said so. Both of those explanations are more disturbing than the statistic itself. The first means that social pressure does not just make us say things we do not believe, it makes us stop believing what we can see. The second means that even when we know the truth, the social cost of saying it alone can be enough to keep us quiet. Asch called this conformity, but that word is too gentle for what the data showed. Conformity sounds like a social grace. What the experiment documented was something closer to a mass override of individual perception, operating quietly, automatically in real time in a room full of strangers over a question with an obvious answer. The question Asch spent the rest of his career asking was not whether people conform. That was settled in the first study. The question was when they stop. He found that one variable changed everything. When just one of the 7 actors gave the correct answer, just one dissenting voice in the room, the real participants' error rate dropped by 75%. A single person willing to say the true thing out loud was enough to make the truth visible again to everyone else. Not a majority, not an authority figure, one person. But here's the part almost no version of this story includes. Asch was not a pessimist. He found the conformity result disturbing precisely because he believed it pointed towards something important about what courage actually is and what it requires. He said that the capacity to resist group pressure was not about stubbornness or independence as a personality trait. It was about having access to at least one other person who saw what you saw. The lone dissenter in his experiments did not give people courage by being right. He gave them permission. This is the mechanism behind every mass delusion ever documented. Not stupidity, not weakness. A normal human brain operating exactly as designed, scanning the social environment for consensus, treating consensus as evidence, updating its perception of reality to match what the group reports. It's an efficient system. For most of human evolutionary history, if everyone around you agreed that something was dangerous, the correct response was to believe them and act accordingly. The system breaks down when the group is wrong, and the group is wrong more often than the system is built to handle. The Stanford Prison Experiment, the Milgram obedience studies, the Asch Conformity Experiments, they're often taught as separate findings about separate things, but they're measuring the same phenomenon from different angles. Put a person inside a social structure that tells them what is real, what is acceptable, what is required, and the individual brain, in the overwhelming majority of cases, will update its perception of reality to match the structure. Not reluctantly, not with visible distress, quietly, automatically, without any sense that something has gone wrong. The people in Asch's room were not weak. They were not unusually susceptible. They were college students in 1951 being asked to identify line lengths, and 75% of them, at some point, looked at a line that was obviously shorter and said it was longer, because 6 strangers said so first. The one thing that reliably interrupted the process was not intelligence. It was not education or personality or moral conviction. It was a single other voice. One person who looked at the same lines and said what they actually saw. Which means the question this experiment leaves you with is not about other people. It is not about how humans in general tend to conform under pressure. The question it leaves you with is simpler and more uncomfortable than that. When you are in that room, and you are always in some version of that room, Are you the one who sees the line and says nothing? Or are you the one voice that makes it possible for everyone else to see it too?